Hey guys, Matt here. It's the Broken Supercoach checking in Tuesday morning. Um, not the night after like we usually do. Round well, what did we just have? Round 6 finished up sort of yesterday. I was a little busy yesterday, so thought I'd come in on a Tuesday morning and take a look through our score. So I've already had a look. I played around with some trades. I haven't done them. I'll reverse them so we can see them. So yeah, 2150, not bad. Just below the average. So the English news really hurt us. If you didn't watch the team video, the English news hurt so much. The laid out with Rosas, I was following it, but I still did it anyway. I needed it to get to Petrarca, and Petrarca was it wasn't great. But I think that's because Oliver hogged a lot of the footy, so I don't think we expect scores like that from Petrarca too much. I'm still happy with that pick. And then, we had Hayes on field. I didn't feel like I would have to loop Hayes, who'd been tracking at 80, 90 the whole time, but probably should have looped Hayes because I had English to do it, and he was junk. But I had the best captain of the week, so, there's always some positives, which saved me from a really terrible score. So I had, like I said to you guys, safe to loop Steele. He wasn't going to be tagged, and worst case, slap the C on McRae, and boy, if you slap the C on McRae, you're in trouble this week. So I think that's where we were saved with Hayes on field, and a couple of other weak scores along the way. Is that McRae was a lot of people captained McRae, I think. So just go through the lines. Hewitt's great. Like, not a lot to talk about in defense. McCartan got concussed, so he'll have to go soon. What's his break even? 44. So he's still worth holding on to. I don't like trading him out. He's still got a little bit of cash there, assuming he'll play. But we may need to just turf him out because he might be a dead position now. De Conning's just tracking along nicely, and Gibcus reset his money as well, which is really nice. O'Driscoll was slow, but he's already made us 164, so we're not too fussed about that. I think it's 100 I think he's made us maybe 100 now. I'm not quite sure. Maybe less. Probably 120, I think it was, because we got him in with a 70k rise. He'd already had a 60 or 70k rise. Dacos is great. We'll keep his break even's 80, so it's nearly time to send him off, but we just don't have the time or the trades at the moment to send him off. So defense is looking so shaky, and this is such a trash pick. Ridley is absolutely killing me. I'm bleeding points, and I just don't have the time to trade him. I don't have the trades or the time to trade him. So we're just going to have to pray that this guy improves his footy. And, either Essendon are bad or he comes good. It's one of those things. So it is what it is. All we'll do this week is we'll probably field Gibcus. I think that role looks nice with Boston in the team. Gibcus's role looks nice, assuming he doesn't get dropped. And he's playing West Coast, so hopefully they rip up a little bit. Decon emergency, and we're just going to hold McCartan, and he'll be out. He'll miss next week, so it's no big deal. We can just sit on him. It depends how long he's out for. We might need to trade him eventually, but for the time being, we're going to hold this guy. Mids are great. Low scores. You expect better from this. What a GOAT play holding Paddy Cripps. Huge move, and if you don't have Cripps now, you have to get him this week because he's gone. He'll be 125. The man's averaging 118 because he had a 39. But if you take that out, he's a 140 average. Or 135 average if you take out this 38. You have to get Paddy Cripps. And it's almost too late if you don't. Brody, again, looking great. It remains to be seen when 5 comes back. But this guy could be a top 6 forward. Horn Francis, we've just had to stick it out with him because... who did I end up doing? I did Hinge, Dixon, who I don't think will be back, and I could be wrong this week, and Rao. And Rao ended up scoring quite well, but better than Petrarca, believe it or not, which is frustrating. He went down 20k, which is also frustrating. That's 20k lost instant, but I had good faith in him. These really worried me, but I thought for the value, I think we've got to stick it out. And what is he now? Can you see the percentage owned from here? He's in 23% of teams now, so he's going to start getting picked up. The worry is now lots of people are going to pick up Oliver. and I don't have them. I might have the money for him. Hopefully I can. McDonald, he'll track along evenly. This is trash money making. We would have thought at the start of the year these Hawthorn rookies would be good, but they're just not. 60k from this bloke. He's a 120k rookie. They're just dud rookies at the start of this year. Rochelle's made 100. He's on 85. Again, I don't know if I'll get rid of him this week. They're playing GWS at home. He might kick a bag. Could reset his scoring one more time. But he could be one of the ones we get rid of just because he's 290. He's a good amount of money. We'll see what we can do with the 195 already in the pocket. And, everyone knows I've got this dead spot. So these two, Grundy and Bruce. Grundy's back. Always reward the faith. I know that a lot of people traded Grundy. I'm just not. Same as Ridley, I'm not in a position to trade Grundy. I made my one premium trade, and that was Crisp. It was the wrong pick. I'm happy to admit that, but I didn't like him. I don't like him as a person, as a player. I'm sure he's a great bloke, but I just don't want him. I didn't want him. It was too frustrating, and now I'm sitting with this, which is too frustrating. So potentially I could burn this, but I've already lost so much money on him, and 479 gets me nothing. And if you start trading premiums now during upgrade season, you're behind the 8 ball. So unless you can get 2 premiums. Williams, this guy has been a junk pick for me, honestly. He's handy cover, and hopefully he can get back to decent scoring. He's been getting blitzed by actual ruckman, or not even. Hayes is not a real ruckman. Laddams is not a real ruckman. Yeah, it's hard to say why. I mean, they're persisting with him, so that's all right. What's he made for me so far? He's made 25k. Not ideal. He's a built-in 245, though, and he's DPP, so he allows me to switch Hayes here, who's now done his ACL, the poor lad. So Hayes was on field for 16, did his ACL. He's made 156k for us. Praise Jack Hayes. Brilliant little run. Rookie of the year, in my opinion, for Supercoach, even though he's not going to play all year. I think what he did for us money-wise, probably the steal pick of the year. 156k, beautiful. Forwards, yeah. So the news on English is he's done his calf, was bleeding or something. Bleeding on the muscle. They reckon 1 to 2 weeks. Does this give me anything? Yeah, it says to be confirmed, but apparently it's 1 to 2 weeks. I would love for English to be back this week, and I think they'll be pushing him back early because they look junk. They look totally junk against the Crows, and they should have lost by 40 points, if not for the umpires being also on their team. So they get an easy run against Essendon this week, but at Marvel, they'll be worried about that. So maybe they push English back. Maybe they try to get him back in. So we may only miss him for 1 week. The way I see it was there was no shot that I was trading English. No chance. This guy's the best scorer in all of Supercoach outside of Neil, Cripps when he's fit, and McRae. So there was no chance that I was trading Tim English, but it's frustrating to have that much on the field. Off the field, sorry. Butters was sick during the week. There was a risk that he was going to be laid out. So he probably played out of position a little bit. I don't know. We've got to stick with this pick. We just have to stick with him. He's going to be inconsistent. Whatever. Hopefully he can get a fit run towards the end of the year. Cornelio looks fine. He's starting to play a much better role. With Toby Green back in the team, even better role. So I'm feeling like this guy could squeeze in as a keeper. Dunkley, I used English for the loop. 140. Just had it on a string against the Crows. Probably had about 18 free kicks for. That's probably where most of his points came from. Because the umps were laughable. Really good forward pick. Obviously, not much to say about him. We're going to have to field Rosas if English doesn't work. So this is where our real concern is now. And it'll affect what we trade. So because we want to get Sam Hayes in, which really hurts because Rosas did his calf. Now, okay, so Rosas did his calf before the game. So he was a late out. Now, how long that was for, I don't know. but I committed to it because the risk is if he comes back this week and I did Hobbs instead. So the idea was instead of Rosas, people did Hobbs, who's a midfield Essendon player. So now the risk is if Rosas comes back this week and you still need to get Sam Hayes because it was too late to get Sam Hayes because he had played the night before, then the risk would be you've got to use another boost. And then I'm down to 2 boosts. And I don't know when you're supposed to use the boost. Nobody does. But I didn't want to have to use a boost this week if Rosas comes back this week. Now the other shoe on that foot is if Rosas isn't picked and English isn't fit, then I have Bailey Williams on field with no support here. So that's a real concern, especially with this idiot playing like this. Everyone else looks fit, so that's okay, but that's a real concern. Laid outs, this guy could get dropped. I mean, I don't think they've got anyone else. They like Bailey Williams, and if Dixon's out, then that's cool, but it's going to look really bad if this guy gets dropped, Dixon comes in, and I've traded Dixon last week, and I've got this empty Bailey Williams on my field who's made me no money. I've got Rosas, which I played a risk, and then at the end of the day, I've got to get Sam Hayes, who's not DPP. We've got a Jack Hayes who's done his ACL. It's really stressful, that. So this position is really concerning. So we may need to, if Rosas isn't named, we may need to assess who we're trading in. But at the moment, and we've got no mids to send, there's no one here we want to trade out. 30 minus 2 minus 71, 60. We're not trading them. 63 is too much. We need this guy to start scoring like a ruckman. Hayes we can trade, but that doesn't help what we're doing because Sam Hayes is a ruckman. So I think what we're going to do this week, we're going to keep our defense like this. We're just going to stick it out. It's not great. We would like to get Sicily or Stewart or something to shore this up for McCartan. But I think these guys are fine on-field options. And I know that sounds crazy to think that we're playing. It's round 7 and we're going to be playing Gipkus on field, but whatever. I think we've got to get rid of Horn Francis this week. His break-even's 83. He rewarded us with a nice little score of 65. Went up 6K. He's made 100K. I think he's done. So we're going to drop him. Gives us 500K to work with. And this is awful, awful, awful news. And who else do we have? We could do Rochelle. I don't know if I want to do Rochelle. He's kind of our only choice. Or Jack Hayes. Now, it's a 40K jump. We'll do a bit of a shuffle. I don't think I can do Jack Hayes, actually. I need to do... Let's try it. We'll do a little bit of a shuffle here, right? So if I do Rochelle... Yeah, it's already not possible, is it? It has to be Jack Hayes. Which is frustrating, because that leaves me with 760. So we bring in our ruckman. Sam Hayes. I like this. By the way, I'll talk about this pick. I like it. I think it's really cool. I don't think we can expect 94 from him, but an 80 average is really nice. And I suddenly see the benefit of people trading down Grundy. However, Grundy is dropping out these type of scores. But this is nice to have, but the tricky part is he's ruck only, but he's going to pump cash. So he will make, I know it says 80 there, but he will make 100K here. Probably 80 in the first week, 80 in the second week. He's got Saints, who currently don't have a ruckman. Marshall injured, Hayes injured. Ryder will be back this week. So he may be going against a solo Ryder, maybe, if Marshall gets up. Then he'll be up against perhaps back from calf injury English or a Steph Martin. North's got Zeri and Goldstein, so that's where I'll struggle. So he will continue to make points. And as you can see, projected to hit 300K by round 9, which is really nice for the buys. You cash this guy out around the buys here, put up the round 12 buy to a 100K play, you're going to get nearly 300,000 out of this bloke. So, well, let's be honest, you're going to get 250,000 out of this guy. So I think it's an absolute no-brainer to get Sam Hayes in, and it's worth the hurt that we are going to get by doing this. So we've got 652. And if I'm being totally honest, I'm going to get Oliver. That was always the plan. Now, all right, well, this is broken. Give me a tick there, fellas. So apologies there. Just got that fixed up. So, yeah, I'll do Oliver. You have to do Oliver. The other one I could do is Keys for 30k less, and I like Keys. There's a couple here you could do, and I'll talk about one that I think a lot of people are going to chase. You know, Ben Keys has not scored under 100 this year. He's 590. He's got a late bye, which is round 13, but I think that bye coincides with a lot of the big teams. Oh, they play it. No, because it's round 14 where all the big teams are. So he's also got a favourable bye. So the thing is, though, if you don't grab Oliver now, you may never get him. And it is point chasing because he just got 160, but he's 73 break even. Whereas Ben Keys, I think that's his price, 600. So, and I wouldn't go near Brayshaw, by the way. The COVID through Fremantle stuff just scares me way too much. I think as much as I love this Sinclair pick, I think he's gone for us. I don't think we can get him. Bogue not relevant. And Mills, if you're picking Mills, you're trolling. I get that he got 214, but you can't pick Mills. Like, these scores are way too scary. The guy's got an Achilles problem. I had this guy last year in defense, and he screwed me big time with just injuries, with playing out of position. Don't get fooled by this. And Tom Green is one. I think with Toby Green back, he held his scoring, which was quite good. I'd still be concerned about this pick. So it's going to be Keys or Oliver, and it's going to be about what we're going to do with the extra. What's that, 30k? Does that 30k help us in any way? We'll be back and forth on this all week. Now, the other story is if Rosas isn't picked and I have to put Williams on field, I may need to shuffle something around and do a different trade. So let's just say realistically it's Oliver. So Oliver comes in. There we look. We got 33k. Yeah, we're down to 23 trades. Whatever. I'm liking how this looks. If, though, we don't have another forward, I would be a fool. You know, say English is out, Williams gets dropped, and Rosas isn't picked, then I have to bring in a forward. And I can't trade Jack. And then I can't trade Jack Hayes. Like, it's a really tricky move. Let's see. How would I do it? So Horne-Francis, I don't even know if I'd have to keep Horne-Francis if I was being honest. So you trade Hayes. You get this one. And it's just a case of working out exactly how screwed I am here. And the answer is very. Say Williams gets dropped. Yeah, I can bring in a decent forward for 575. So that's what I can do. It's not ideal to trade Williams. It's probably a bad trade. It means I burned a trade at the wrong time. So I could do something like, could I? I'm having no luck with this one here at the moment. Alright guys, so I just had a little play around there. The trade tool from Supercoach seems to be broken at the moment. We'll just try it one more time. But it's kind of going to ruin our video here. So we probably have to keep Horne-Francis. We trade, say, Jack Hayes because he has to go. And then we trade, say, Bailey Williams. Perhaps has to go as well. You bring in Sam Hayes again. And then you've got 575 with a forward or a mid. So we take a look at what we've got on offer here. And you sort of look at, you can get Heaney, which is nice. I don't really want any of these. I mean, we're going to have to at some point, aren't we? I'll probably only do Heaney in that position. And this is, now it's working in. So Brody can go down. 575. Geez, I'd love that for enough for that to be Ben Keys. And it doesn't now. I could get Sinclair, but it doesn't shore up our defense anymore. So the reason I wouldn't just send O'Driscoll down and get Sinclair in, because that doesn't help us in any way. And then we have to field O'Driscoll and Horne-Francis, which we don't. It doesn't improve our field position at all. Is there a way for me to get that 20k? I wonder. There isn't really, is there? So the other choice I could do is I could send Brody back, and instead of trading Bailey Williams, you trade Horne-Francis. No, it has to be a forward we trade. So the only forward option is this clown. Because I'm not trading any of these just yet. So we'll trade him. Yeah, so I could do Heaney. I don't like it. But it is what it is. So if... Yeah, because I don't like these mid options. I wish there were some good mid options, but there just isn't. Well, I guess the other thing is that I could boost and come in with cash again. So let's just say you boost, which I didn't want to do, but... And you trade out, say, Rochelle. This is a nightmare doing this. This is probably the worst option. You trade out Horne-Front. Who's the worst of these? They're both the same. I think we trust Rochelle to... 85. I think we just trust Rochelle to do that. This guy's on field. And then you go Oliver here. You use the full money. And this is not ideal, but then you end up getting this bloke, Hobbs, which we don't like Hobbs whatsoever. But I think he's the only one. I don't like Finn Callahan. Oh, maybe I do like Finn Callahan. I just don't like GWS players. Do we go early on McComb? No shot. We don't go early on McComb. Because he's got to be a field player. So it really doesn't work either. You could go Hobbs and Callahan. But that's what I'd be doing. Or, is there a good one here? Well, there's nothing really there. With 278, there's not much we're doing there. If Skinner was to come back, I don't like the job security. I'm not getting trolled by a guy I just dropped. Windhager, I don't mind. He's already gone up one in price. We could go early on Curtis. I do like Curtis. And the other one we could do is go Perez, who we probably end up should have doing Rosas for Perez anyway, but he's just not going to make us any money. It's not worth trading in for the second time. None of these guys are good. So probably not worth boosting here in order to get Oliver. So we've just got to hope that English is back or Rosas is selected. So we can get Oliver in. And I think it's going to be Oliver. I don't think it's going to be Keys. So touch wood. We'll see how it goes. But, and then last one. I know it's been a longish sort of video, but last one. What's our captain status here? I think we've got to go... Geez, there's not many good captains on offer early. The Dogs playing on Sunday. St Kilda on Saturday. My non-players... If English isn't named, then... Rosas is Sunday as well. Glad there's no Thursday games. No, I mean, not for viewing, but for Supercoach, for the sake of Supercoach. I think... Depending on who we trade, I think we will use those guys as our option. So I think we would use Oliver as vice on Saturday. Because we've got a late loop in McCartan here. So I think we'd vice Oliver if we got Oliver. Or we'd even vice Keys if we had Keys. And then we'd play that into McRae against Essendon, who rarely drops under 100 2 games in a row. His last score against Essendon was 150. Highest score against Essendon was 150. His, 150, 120, 137. So people rip up against Essendon. So I think he's the go. So I'd probably slap the C on him there. And you could vice... What does Steele do against Port? Ever? Not ideal. Probably vice Oliver against Hawthorn. So that would be our play there, or Petrarca against Hawthorn. Neil's too late, and then you use McCartan as your loop. So that's the skinny there. I'll touch base with you guys Thursday, Friday-ish for the teams. Let us know how you went. The Rosas was tricky. Boy, I hope English is back. It's a dangerous hole here. And I'm on thin ice if we don't get a name here. So, let me know how you go. Chat again soon.